What's up, guys? Before we start today's video, I want to go over a couple things. First and foremost, I'm gonna upload this video in 4K, which means you're watching it in 4K. If you enjoy that, let me know in the comments, because I really need to know if I had to make sure I said 28 times. If you guys like it, I'm gonna keep doing it. If you don't like it, then I'll probably go back to 1080p, just because 4K burns up the cards and the batteries quite a bit quicker. So something to think about. But if you guys really enjoy it, I'm gonna make every effort I can to keep uploading in 4K and bump the quality up just a little bit for you guys. Also, I'm shooting from a new camera. My brother hooked it up for my early birthday present. He grabbed me a Hero 8. If y'all didn't know, I've been using Hero 7s, so we're gonna give this Hero 8 a shot. The main differences is the stabilization is a lot better. Also, it's probably not gonna do the little random like tweaker mode non-stabilization in the middle of a clip anymore, so hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Also, the pre-order on the shirts is done. It's over. If you got one, thank you very much. If you didn't, I'm telling you, you missed out. I did, however, order a few extras, so we'll have some on the website in inventory. If you missed out, you couldn't, make the order in time, that's fine. We'll have a few to order here and there. It just might take us longer because I have a limited quantity, so I'll have to order a lot more often, and we'll see how that goes. But on to today's video. I'm excited for this one. If y'all have learned at all, I cannot remember anything. So I made some lists. On the inside, get it? I'm smart. I made a list for the inside stuff on the inside of the glass, and then I made a list for the outside stuff on the outside of the glass. Big brain. Anyways, for seat console related stuff, we gotta make a console mount still. This is not bolted down in the back. Oh, it's actually kind of solid. It's bolted in the front with 2 bolts up here, but there's nothing holding it down in the back here, which I never did build those tabs I talked about, but today might be that day. Maybe. We'll see. Keep going. We got the seat brackets need trimmed, and what I'm gonna go ahead and trim this, like, pretty much right around this bolt, and then I'll trim a little bit in the back just to kind of make it look a little nicer. Just purdy it up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Yep, I gotta have this fan, sorry guys. And then onward, we got the passenger side seat mounts we still gotta work on. Remember, we only got the outside 2 bolted in, the inside one didn't work out, so I'm gonna have to fix that. The heat and AC seat wires. So this button and these other 2 buttons, they have a connector which is in one of the fat harnesses we kept. I've got to pick out these connectors and try to find them because I don't think we labeled them. So I got to find those connectors and play eeny, meeny, miny, mo until I find the one that clips in like it's supposed to. We'll have to decode that and make a harness that will run from here, basically under the carpet to the seats, so that our heat and AC seats work. We got to make switches for the lean, which we don't have to make switches, but I do want to make like easy access, like pigtails or something, which we'll probably never adjust these. We'll probably always have them leaned all the way back, but like that one's got to be leaned. So I don't know if we're going to make switches for that. If there's ever a reason in the future that we need to adjust the seat, then we'll just have to figure it out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if we really need switches there or not, but we're gonna think about that. I need to repair some cracks in the console. It's got a couple under this cover piece. This cover piece like brings it all together, but there's like, it's like separated. There's like this bottom half and then this piece, and they're like cracked right here. So put some super glue or something on there. And seat belts. We don't have any seat belts. And while I don't really care about seat belts that much, I feel like we should have them because I plan on taking this truck on a lot of cruises and like trips, maybe like poker runs and stuff like that. This truck's gonna get a lot of miles on it, and you never know who you're next to on the road, and when somebody's going to do something they don't need to do. We never know when we're going to have a blowout, when something's going to run into the road. And for that reason, I value seat belts, especially for the fact of I care about who sits in this seat, whether it's my wife, Chris, James, whoever I'm taking for a ride. I care about this person a lot more than I care about myself, and for that reason we need seat belts. Plus we don't want to be cruising around and that's the first thing a cop looks at, is not seeing that strap going across your chest, and boop, you're getting pulled over. So we need to figure out that. Onto the dash, we need to get the blower ducting figured out and get the 95's blower motor adapted up to, I don't know if y'all can see it over there. Let's see if this thing's got zoom. Zoom? No? No? Okay, no zoom. Anyways, the ducting's over there on the table. We've got to figure out how we're going to get that molded to the blower openings and then get everything snaked through, which shouldn't be a problem because I'm using the support bar that belongs to this dash. So everything should work right. There's a pretty good amount of room behind this bar to the firewall, so I think we'll be okay. The only thing that I looked at that I think we might have an issue with is the defrost vents. Where these defrost vents are in this like trim piece, the lip of our firewall is actually like right here. So there's actually no way for me to get the opening from the ducting to go to the defrost vents up here, other than making our own solution to that. So we should probably do that. Our HVAC switches, I call them HVAC, sorry, our heat and air switches that control like our blower, our hot, cold, floor vent, face vent, defrost, all that. If you remember me talking about those down there, that wiring is too short and I actually can't like unhook it and make it like sit up here with the stock length wiring. So we're gonna have to depin that, extend those harnesses, and I think right here is supposed to be like your cigarette lighter plugs and like your charging ports. I might make it so that the HVAC is right here. That would probably work really good for us. Do the HVAC here, and then whatever switches, charging ports would be here, we'll just fab up a panel and put it right here, because what would be right here is like the cargo light switch, the traction control, and like some towing stuff or something, I can't remember. We're not gonna have any of that, so I'll probably just put switches and stuff in here and like cigarette lighters or whatever in here or something. We'll figure that out. But I gotta have HVAC controls up here, mainly for, we don't have AC yet, we will, but fall, winter's coming up and I'm gonna need defrost, so we gotta figure that out, at least for defrost purposes and heat, because I'm gonna try to drive this baby in the winter. So and then next we got to mount the tablet and push start button, which they're going to go basically just on this cover piece here, the shroud. I think I was messing with it earlier. There's a pretty good blank area behind here to put this right here. And don't mind these tabs. These are mounting tabs for those of y'all that don't know. So they'll actually be like this, and I'll drill a hole this big. This will go through, and then I'll have to bend these tabs back out on the back side, which is basically like the cap to keep this from pulling out, if y'all didn't know. But I think we're gonna put it up here somewhere. Nothing else goes right here. You'll have your shifter column, but this won't be in the way. I feel like that'll be a good spot for the push start. And then as for our tablet, we've got to notch a little bit of this brace right here. We'll basically just cut a groove in that, and then we'll probably figure out some way to fab up kind of some little tabs on the bottom to get that in there. We're gonna have to keep in mind like a kind of like a quick release option in case we need to pull that out to put it on, to take it out to update it, the tablet, or if we're staying somewhere, you know, like in a crappy area, like we go travel somewhere, we'll take it out so it don't get stolen, because that tablet kind of is our life. I mean, we don't have to have it for the truck to work, but it'd be nice to have so that we have gauges, we know how fast we're going, stuff like that. So we're gonna make that kind of where it can be quickly pulled out, which is probably gonna involve me taking most of this out. That way I can put it in like this and then kind of lean it back, and I'll probably put like some magnets on it or something. That way it like snaps into place with magnets. That's probably what we'll do. And then we've got to adapt our headlight switch. The one that belongs on this newer style dash, we've got to basically de-pin the 95's switch, break down these few wires, adapt them onto the new switch so that everything looks right and works right, so we can get our headlights and running lights and all that working. And then the last thing was to mount the PCM and OBD2 port wires and wiring. We got to make a little bracket for that to sit in the glove box and all that. So all of this fab type stuff, mainly this and the PCM and stuff, I need to figure out before we take it back apart, because I'm gonna have to take all this back out, A, to do the seat tabs, B, to make a mount for this, and C, to adapt the blower vents and all that. So I need to figure the mounts out probably first, and then take all this back apart and go from there. Let's move on to what needs to be done outside. For the outside, for the engine stuff that we still got to do, we still got to change our intake manifold with the one that old John Belt hooked us up with. By the way, if y'all still haven't checked his channel out, you really need to. I'm gonna drop the link below. And I'm also going to put a little button right here for you to just click on it. That way you don't have to go to the description. Check him out, he does some really cool stuff. He's got his AMX that he's building that's LS swapped. He works on a couple other people's cars, and he also has a gaming sub channel, so check that out. Anyways, we gotta check our starter wire. Not so much the hot side, which I probably will shorten that a bit. It's kind of long. I think I'm gonna make it go kind of a different route. And then also I let the starter solenoid lead kind of hang out here just for test fire purposes, and we got our test fire out of the way. So what I need to do is, I think what I'm going to do is run this up with the main part of the harness, and the crank position sensor I also ran like outside right here, and it gets really close to the header. So we're gonna eliminate that by unhooking it and putting it behind the training dipstick tube, and that'll kind of hug it to the block a little bit more. And then we'll secure it down and run it behind the starter instead of out and over. That'll get that wiring tucked out of the way. And then our math sensor, I talked with Bales and he said it could be quite a few things. It could be bad, it could just not be calibrated. So what I'm going to do is basically be ready to buy a new one, and when we take it to him to tune, if he can't calibrate it and he determines that it is bad, however that works, that's all way above my knowledge range. Basically, if he can fix it, then he can calibrate it and we're good to go. If not, then I'll have the money set aside and we'll run up to wherever it is that we need to get one, or he might have one laying around, and we'll grab us a new MAF sensor. Next up, we got to change the spark plugs. We got the crappy plugs that were in here. Remember, they were all like mixed matched, and we're gonna clean off our NGKs, put those back in here just cause. And then we got to get our coolant system figured out, which is going to involve putting, you know, the fender and the front clip back on so we can get the radiator back on, get our hoses figured out, get our heater hoses figured out. They go back here to here, and then other than that, we'll be pretty much in the game there. And then what else? Throttle cable. That was the last thing. We got to change our throttle cable out from the OBS style pedal to a 99 to 06 style pedal, which we got right there. That way it's long enough to come out to the throttle body up here. Next up, on the transmission, we got to put the cooler lines on, which my dumb self should have done before we put that thing in there, because it's going to be a biatch. to thread those like cooler lines into the trims. I messed up. Our shift linkage, subtopic on this, we don't have to have a park neutral switch anymore, which I don't know why I never figured that out, but we don't need it, so I can take that off while we're down there. And then our shift linkage nut, like to when you slide your shifter cable on there, we don't have a nut for that, so we probably have one laying around. Got to get that on there, make sure our shift linkage don't come off while we're going down the road. We got to put tranny fluid in it. And then lastly, we got to change the U-joints for our drive shaft. Get that all squared up and then get the drive shaft installed. Probably should do that before we put fluid in. And then basically after we do that, we'll be in great shape, put the bed back on and not have to take it back off. Or basically, it'd be convenient to put the drive shaft in without the bed on. Be a little easier. And then our other stuff that we got to do before we can get rolling is roll the front fenders. I'm gonna go ahead and do that because this this flat lip that sticks out right here, 108% interferes with the tire right there, as seen here. So we're gonna get that rolled. We're gonna decide on the bump steer kit. I think I'm gonna make sure I got the money set aside, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust these tie rods in to where, you know, the wheels aren't towed out so much. And when we get ready to drive it, I'm gonna go ahead and drive it and see how bad the bump steer is. Some people say it's horrible, some people say it's not that bad, so I'm gonna find out for myself. We got some pretty bumpy roads around where I live, so if it sucks and it's, you know, bouncing all over the road, then before I take it to get officially aligned, I'm going to get that bump steer kit and I'm gonna let the alignment shop put it on, because I don't want to have to deal with all that again, and alignment shop has to mess with all that anyways while they're there, so they might as well go ahead and put our bump steer kit on for us. And then other than that, drop shackles. IHC finally got us those. Thank y'all. And we got to get those slapped on. Probably be easy to slap those on without the bed on. So drive shaft and drop shackles, and then we can get the bed slapped on, not have to take it back off. And I found out from a subscriber that messaged me on Instagram, we were talking about the drop kit. He was like, oh, you didn't get shock relocation kits? And I was like, no. He was like, huh, well, I did. So I'm gonna message IHC again, or email them, and be like, hey, is this supposed to come with a shock relocation kit? Because I didn't get one and I had somebody that said they did. So, you know, he also, that dude had to ask for his drop shackles too. They didn't come with his kit. He had to ask for them. So it's hard to tell because on IHC's site they kind of list out what's included in the 5.7 kit, but it's the same picture as the 4.6 kit. So you don't really know by looking at the picture what you're supposed to get. So when you open the box, you think you got what you needed and you don't know. So I'm gonna have to check up on that. Other than that, that's about all we got left, guys, and then we can get this biatch on the road and take it driving. That is super exciting for me. One other thing, Bales, he's a particular tuner, which I don't blame him. I want a nitpicky guy tuning my truck, because chances are he's gonna make sure things are like right, not janky, which I need the double check on. And he's like, dude, it's got to be 100% where you want it to be while you're driving it before you bring it to me, which means like everything on it, everything installed, intake figured out, coolant lines on, and what I mean, like the heater hoses. He's like, if you're gonna do AC, you need to have the AC on before. So basically we're gonna tune it now without the AC on, and then whenever I get to getting a compressor bracket and getting that mounted up and the lines and all that, then we'll go back and have him, you know, doctor that up. And then he's like, dude, you need to have exhaust on it. So I'm gonna once we get it rolling and take it on a short little test drive and make sure nothing's gonna fly apart, we're gonna take it, get some exhaust put on it, And then either that or I might try to get my feet wet and make an exhaust. I don't know. Might order some like tubing and see what I can do. Anyways, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to explain for the OGs, everybody that's kind of curious where we're at, because I've kind of been like jumping around here and there. I wanted to give a good little update on where we're at and what we have left to do, and also give myself like a list so I can't forget nothing. And that gives me a really easy way of like, when I come out here and I'm like, what should I do today? I got like a list I can look at and knock a couple things off the list. So these next couple weeks are really busy for me. Next weekend is Labor Day weekend, and we're going to Tulsa. There's a Tailgate Madness truck show. They're doing 1/8 mile drags, truck drags. There'll be a truck show, a burnout pit, and all that. Nice little truck meet show, whatever you want to call it. So me and OG Taco are going to go to that, do a little group outing. Probably take James with us. I think he said he's going for sure. Take the whole family out and do a little truck thing. We got that, and then the weekend after that, the weekend of the 12th, that is my birthday weekend. So the 12th is going to be our pit bike finale grand championship. So I got to make a couple trophies. And then the 13th, which is Sunday, is actually my birthday. And we're going to Tulsa again, because Tulsa is going to be the first stop of Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0. And you know, I got to go out there and at least see Cletus, the Boosted Boys. I forget their names, but the two big dudes that are from Kansas that built that 12 valve Cummins swap Mustang. Boy, I got to see that thing in person. Check those dudes out, meet them. And yeah, so that'll be a cool little outing. But anyways, I'm gonna end this one off here. This is basically just like an update video, just letting you guys know what we got to get done, what we got coming up in the next couple weeks. But basically, every time I come out here and I got some time, I'm basically gonna try to pick a few things off the list and get them knocked out, you know, one by one, and get this baby on the road. So I'm probably gonna try to do something this evening because it's Saturday night and I got time. Tomorrow, James, Mooney, and maybe Colton are coming over. And since I'm going to be gone Labor Day weekend, the weekend before the race, we're going to work on the track, get some berms built, maybe get a little jump built. So if you guys haven't watched any of the bike videos, I really suggest y'all do. That's when me and the boys have a really good time, and it's a good time for all of us to let loose of what we deal with in our daily lives and work and all that, and just cut up and have a good time. So if y'all haven't checked those out, please do. Other than that, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Thank all you new subscribers for stopping by. Let me know what you think of this 4K. And other than that, peace out. We'll see you later.